Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Dor O Matic number 2090 series exit device. The 2090 series exit device is a rim-mounted crossbar style, economic, flexible, capable, mid-grade exit device that you will see installed in countless applications, primarily on aluminum storefront doors, but not necessarily exclusively on them. But most of the time, because they're capable of handling an installation where the stiles are quite small. The definition of quite small is going to be inch and 3/4 minimum stile width is required for mounting this unit, and I have, of course, one here to review. So when you get the material, it's going to be comprised of several pieces, but I think actually once you spend 5 minutes with the installation instructions, this is a slam dunk easy unit to install. So obviously you're going to get the crossbar, teardrop style shaped crossbar, and this is going to be able to handle right out of the box a door that is going to be as wide as up to 44 inch, I believe. I'm going to measure the length of this crossbar. This is just the standard device. Yeah, the crossbar length is 41 inch, and that means you're going to be able to handle a door that's upward of about 3'8" or 44 inch. We'll go over that more in a moment. So you've got the crossbar itself. You've got then, of course, the head case or the latch case. Now these devices are absolutely handed. They're handed because, well, the latch case itself is handed. The internal workings of this unit are handed. These lever arms are handed depending on what side they're installing onto. So you have to know the hand of the door. This is a dark bronze version. This is going to be the P13 finish is what they call that. That's what it looks like. Being a 2090, what that means is it's going to be just the exit device only, although what I'm actually showing you here with this specific head case is going to be like a 2092 or a 2093 because it has the PB5 pinion cam in it. This is actually it's more appropriate to call it a 2092 or a 2093. The part numbers from Dor O Matic, now under the Falcon name, 2090 means exit only. 2091 means exit only but with a pull handle. 2092 means that it's going to have a rim cylinder only. 2093 is a pull handle and a rim cylinder. So if you've got a pinion cam on the back, and that's a part number PB5, by the way, very common. You're going to people are going to buy these all the time. They do simply wear out with use. You're going to have obviously a cylinder function with this. Okay, we're going to talk more about that in a moment. So that's what the head case looks like, and again, handed. To order these, you need to know a number of things, and we'll go over all of them, but you have to know the hand of the door, certainly, and you have to obviously know the finish. We'll go over a couple of other things in a moment. Then you've got the hinge case, okay? Very simple, very straightforward. And one hallmark of the Dor O Matic line, and actually the a Legion line of their exit devices, whether it's under the Monarch, or the Falcon, or the Dor O Matic, or the Von Dupper name, is accessibility to replacement parts. Certainly we sell a factor of 100 times replacement parts for exit devices than we do the entire device itself. Why? Exit devices are a significant investment. They just are. It's it's certainly code required hardware for emergency egress, for fire egress. Being able to get your hands on parts is crucial to helping continue get service or life expectancy out of that significant investment in hardware. So your cases are handed. I mean, obviously this part isn't, but the lever arm certainly is. And we sell lever arms all the time for both hinge side and head case, lock side, and both of the hands in all of the colors. This bracket assembly back here we do as well. This has a long part number and is really the internal mechanism that will include the latch and the two geared wheels that connect to the PB5 pinion cam that will perform either a holdback function or just a night latch function. So this entire assembly is common as well. Then you're going to get the strike plate, and the standard strike with this is listed as the SD36. There are other options that are available, but this is the standard strike. You're going to get one adjusting plate to allow you to move that back and forth, and then of course the 2 screws that you're going to need for installation. And then the balance of the hardware is going to be some pieces. You're going to get a dogging key, which we'll go over in a moment. You're going to get the 2 screws that are used to attach the crossbar down to the lever arm itself. Right in there. But you're obviously looking at it from the back side. You will get an Allen wrench that you're going to need to attach both of the cases down to the mounting bolts. And there's 4 of these that you'll get. Okay. And these are really easy to install. You have 2 mounting bolts per case, and once you get them attached to the door, they're obviously going to seat right in here and in here. And then what you have are set screws on either side at the top, then at the bottom for the lower mounting bolt, and this will get attached right to the door itself. Okay, very easy. Simple installation. Now, speaking of installation instructions, let's go over them now. There's a link below this video, and actually the installation instructions, it's really 4 pages. Only 2, well, one's the cover, so that doesn't count. The second is pretty much everything you need to know. The 3rd page would be the template, and there's a link below this video to the template page only. The 4th page is the parts diagram. We'll go over that in a moment. The cover does give you a reference to the 4 different part numbers as it changes with the exterior function. Going over the installation instructions, first, it is important to know another thing you need to specify if it's important at the time you're ordering the material. This out of the box is going to handle a steel door or an aluminum door, obviously one that's been properly reinforced, because you're going to drill and tap holes into the aluminum or the steel for the mounting bolt. If you are doing a wood door installation, you must specify at the time of order. If you have, forgive me, a wood door and you order it without specifying it, you're going to not get the right parts to install it, because there's a reference, which we'll get to later in the installation instructions, to the, I think they call them mounting plates. You need the wood, you need the mounting plates to go to the face of the door so that these can sit onto, because this mounting bolt would not be proper for a wood door installation. Okay. Now, installation instructions, if you would like to go through those, that's what we're going to do now. Check all the items you have against your parts list, which is linked below this video as well. There's a note that dimensions on lock and lock screw holes will function with the following 5-pin tumbler rim cylinders: Corbin, Lockwood, Schlage, Welch, and Yale. I'm not familiar of a rim cylinder that is not compatible with this. Step 3, aluminum and hollow metal door. Install housing mounting studs indoor. That's just step 3. Step 3 is going to basically tell you that per the template, you are going to attach your mounting studs to the face of the door. Okay? So what they're saying there is a mention for surface mounting right here, and that's where these studs are going to be mounted. There's going to be a dimension that you're going to adhere to. It looks like it's 6 1/4 inch. You're obviously going to install that stud in the center line of your stile. Okay, 6 1/4 inch from each other. You're going to make sure your height, of course, is compliant with what you need it to be. There's certainly going to be a reference somewhere in this template for that sort of mounting height, and there is. 42 inch to the finished floor is a recommendation. Now, we had talked earlier about a wood door installation. The entire bottom half of this refers to the wood door installation, and you're going to see that mounting plate right there. That's got to go to the door, and it already has its mounting studs attached to it, so the wood plate will go onto the door. So step 3 is get your studs mounted, wood door if necessary. Step 4, install the cylinder if used. You're going to need to cut the tail piece, and there's a reference on the installation instructions to hold it back 3/16 of an inch from the inside face of the door to the end of the cylinder, and that's because this PB5 pinion cam is going to sneak into the door and grab that. Okay. Okay, and now step 5 is setting the holdback or the night latch function on the unit. So what that means is this. You can make it so that you can turn the key from the outside, and every time you unlock the device and pull the door open and then remove the key, this will always relock. That's a night latch, NL. The HB is the holdback function. Now the holdback function allows you to insert the key, rotate it 360 degrees, take the key out, and now this is held back. You would want that. It's dogging. It's a holdback feature from the exterior that will keep the device dogged. Pardon me, that's wrong to say dogged. It will keep the latch held back is what it will do. It doesn't dog the device. But it will allow someone to come in from the outside. So the application would be, let's say that we have a auto body shop. Owner comes in the morning, opens the device, holds it back. Now the door is unlocked for his clients to come in all day long through that door. And you're not actually having the latch bolt do any of the work or locking the door. Now how to set that is very simple. The installation instructions tell you, and I'm going to demonstrate it, turning key 1 complete rotation, holdback feature. Turning key 1 complete rotation retracts the latch bolt. If the key is removed in this position, latch stays retracted. Returning key to the original position before removing allows latch bolt to extend. To set for holdback, this is the important part, turn pinion cam until the latch bolt starts to be retracted, then turn the pinion cam the other way as far as it will go. Leave pinion cam in that position. So here's my tailpiece. We'll do it this way. The installation instructions basically say that you're going to set the pinion cam to the point where the latch bolt begins to be retracted. Begins. So right about there, it's going to begin to be retracted. And obviously this needs to be straight up and down and across. To do a holdback, they then say set it to there and then turn it back the opposite direction required until it stops. And it does indeed stop as I rotate it the other way. And making that horizontal and vertical. There you go. Now, this is my tailpiece of the rim cylinder. As I have the installation done, and I rotate it clockwise, 180 degree, another 180 degree. Now I've got the latch retracted, and I'm able, because I've turned 360 degree of my cylinder, I'm able to pull the key out. Because a rim cylinder can only be pulled out when the key is back vertical. So either in 0 or at at 0 or 360 degrees, really either direction. So now I'm able to pull the key out and my latch is retracted. Now, if you want to do a night latch only, what they say is turn the pinion cam to the point where the latch starts to retract, and there it is, and leave it there. Now, I've left it there. Now I've got my rim cylinder. I'm going to turn it 180 degrees so the key's upside down. It's retracting the latch. If I wanted to pull the key out, I'd either have to go back 180 degree or go an additional 180 degree. But as you can see, I'm prevented from going any further. So I cannot pull the key out except when the latch is extended. And then that's your night latch feature, is what that is. So just whether or not you set the pinion cam here or here will set the holdback or night latch function. That's all of step 5. Step 6, install active housing over mounting studs and tighten set screws. So the active housing is going to be the business end. You've got 3 set screws, 2 at the top, 1 at the bottom. Okay. Ignore these 2 screws. They don't do anything. Check lever arm operation to check that all parts move freely. Step 7, oh, that is step 7. And if you have a cylinder function, now is the time to check to make sure you've got the pinion cam set properly, because you don't want to have to disassemble the entire device to make an adjustment. At that point, install the crossbar, which is step 8, and the inactive housing. So the crossbar will go into here. You've got it hanging loose there. You're going to mate it to the inactive housing. You're going to get this put onto the door. Tighten the 3 set screws. Okay, again, ignore these 2 bolts, and this one is important. We'll talk about that in a moment. And tighten down, and you're done. Prepare the frame for the strike, and install the strike. Now, obviously, at this point, it is outrageously crucial that you've already prepped your location of the center line of the device appropriately. So for that metal door installation, up here, see strike application, page 4 for back sets. So page 4 is going to be the bottom of the installation instructions, and as we said, SD36 is your standard strike. And what that's saying is, what it's saying is the dimension from the face of the stop to the center line of the mounting studs is 1.25 inches for the SD36 for the surface mounted strike. It happens to be the same if you're using the SD35. It happens to be the same if you have a mullion. It looks like it's the same for almost everything when you're dealing with a rim-mounted unit. So that's easy. So the important part is this diagram gives us a lot of interesting information. 1.25 inches is your back set for that SD36 strike. It also tells us 7/8 of an inch from the center line. So what they're saying is, whatever your center line is, deduct 1.75 inches, and that will be the cut length of your bar. Okay? That, obviously, you'll have to have cut this at some point as well. And that really concludes the installation instructions. The key to doing this, really, in my opinion, is first, absorb it. What I do is I absorb the template first, where all the holes have to be drilled, and I make sure that everything makes sense. I fully review the installation instructions so that I don't get halfway through and say, oops, this is a wood door, how is this going to work? You know, that kind of stuff. You don't want to make a mistake halfway through. Now, the crucial thing is, they give you that parts list on the backside, and we had talked earlier about a hallmark of a Legion brand exit devices that you're able to get your hands on parts. What you'll need to do is to get to the real parts list where these part numbers translate into items that you can purchase. For instance, they do not even list the PB5 here, the pinion cam, which is on the back side of the active housing. This is a partial parts list that pertains to what you're getting in the device. There's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Dor O Matic Falcon products that we sell, but a link to the price list. The price list is where you're going to find the comprehensive parts available parts list for not only this device, but of course all of the devices. And that's the important document. It'd be handy if they had a 5th page here that said, hey, listen, save this sheet. Down the road, if XYZ breaks, this is the thing you gotta, or wears out, this is what you have to order. That would be pretty handy, but they don't. Now, there's a link to the product catalog, which is here. The 2090 provides balanced appearance, dependable performance, and economical pricing. Popular device where REM exits are required. Now, we didn't talk about the dogging, and I don't believe that it is even mentioned anywhere here at all. Anyway, let's talk about dogging. The one item we didn't discuss is the dogging. Now, that one large bolt that's here, and the other that's down here, you've got 2 silver bolts. When I push the lever arm in, and I hold it in, you're going to take the key and get it stuck down in here, and as you turn that clockwise, you can't see it because it's too dark, but I'm pushing that bolt up, and it will allow the lever arm to stay dogged or retracted, and obviously the latch bolt retracted. That's dogging. Now, complete dogging, the installation instructions, it says it in here somewhere because I remember having read it 100 years ago. Regardless, dog both of the head cases. You don't want one side dogged and the other side active. So, same key, turn it clockwise. As I turn that, it will force that screw up, and then you can see that it begins to pull the arm back. Okay, there you go. Now, in that scenario earlier of the body shop, sure, you can do a hold back, but you're also going to want to dog the arms down so that you're not hitting it. You don't want to wear the device out. Dor O Matic is going to tell you that successful dogging of the unit when there's no reason for it to latch will significantly increase the life expectancy of the hardware. Makes perfect sense to me. There's lots of parts that are in here, that springs and whatnot, that if there's no reason to use them, why use them? Okay. Now we've got it undogged. So in those scenarios, do a holdback. You don't have to do a holdback because the dogging will provide the holdback feature as well. I couldn't see needing to do a holdback and not dogging it from the inside. Why would you want to hit that crossbar to exit when the latch is already pulled back? Doesn't make sense. You might skip the holdback feature and just come in and dog it, obviously. Now, options for this device. We talked about the, what did we talk about? We talked about the functions based on how the part number changes. The device is going to be available in aluminum, dark bronze, black. Then architectural finishes: polished brass, satin bronze, satin brass, polished chrome, satin nickel, and polished nickel. Okay. You can do a longer crossbar as well. The 41-inch length standard crossbar is included. You're going to have to cut that, certainly. You can get a longer crossbar. It's a marginal add for the material. It's not uncommon to sell the crossbar only. Why would you sell these parts? Well, here's what happens. Obviously, vandalism, regular use, regular abuse. The delivery man comes and he gets the door open, and as he's leaving, he hits the crossbar with his cart to push the door open. Or if that door is held open at 90 degrees, someone will come along and just whack this, damaging something. So these parts, these devices, are rebuildable, as we've talked about earlier. But those are the reasons why you might, run into needing more of those parts. And that concludes pretty much everything that's available. Again, you have to know the material of wood that your door is. Specify it if it is other than aluminum or steel. You have to know the hand. You have to know the finish. It's obviously very helpful to know if your door is wider than 3'8", because you'll need to specify a longer crossbar length. And then at that point, you're good. Once, of course, assuming that you already know the function. Now, that list of the parts, that list below this video to the manufacturer's page, where the price list is really priceless, because it will not only show you all the different Dor O Matic devices, but it gives you all of those parts drawings as well, which allows you to get to the part numbers that you need if you have an existing device. I'm really partial to Dor O Matic because it fits a niche where they're outrageously ubiquitous, they're reliable, predictable, economical, everything that was said earlier, and you can continue to rebuild them. That's the key. It's a standardized piece of hardware that's been in existence for a very long time, very reliable, dependable devices, and you can't really be out in public on any given day and not touch a Dor O Matic piece of hardware. If you have any questions on the Dor O Matic 2090 or any series of their exit devices, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.